So I just did what any sensible human being would do against g6 here when playing Jobava London. I send the h pawn. Like, I literally just moved back and forth. Hey guys, welcome to today's YouTube video, and today you may notice I have a game against an international master, and let's just say I am very pleased with the result of this game, but it may not be what you expect. So I got white in this game. I was just playing an arena, and I played d4, and he started off with knight f6. This is a common response to d4, and I played the Jobava London, and he responded with d5, the most common move, and I played bishop f4. This is the Jobava London. This is just how I play it. So after bishop to f5, I thought we were going to transpose with e3 and then c6 and then bishop to d3, which is actually what happened. So bishop d3 is what I know here, and after takes, you're supposed to take with the d pawn, which is what happened. I still know this. This is pretty common, and then generally people usually play e6 here. G6 I haven't really seen like ever. It's not a great move, so I just did what any sensible human being would do against g6 here when playing Jobava London. I send the h pawn, and this is just the move that if you've watched me for like even a couple days, you'll know the move that I play here like almost religiously is h5. Computer hates it. I don't care. It's a fun line. I don't care that the computer hates it. It's a fun line. It's honestly not that bad here. Computer just doesn't like it that much. I play knight f3, move my queen back, and now I play king up. I did see this move, but I actually didn't really see a point to it, honestly. Like after queen to a6, I didn't really see what the point of bishop to c7 really was. So I just played my king up, allowing my rook to come over to h1 eventually, if for some reason my opponent castles kingside, which I highly doubt would happen, but it's a possibility. So he put his knight back on d7. I assume he wants to reroute to the king side somewhere. I'm not really sure yet, but I simply bring my rook to the semi-open file, since in reality nothing is going to happen along the h-file. My opponent's not going to castle kingside like ever, so I didn't really see a point in putting it on the h-file. And my opponent plays queen back to b6, and here simply I just move my rook up. There's no real reason for it to be on the back rank right now. It's not like my back rank ever is going to be in danger here, so I just play rook up, and my opponent plays queen to a6. This is an alright move. I don't really think my opponent exactly knew what to do, even though they're an international master. It's blitz. They don't have forever to think. So I just take the pressure off of the d pawn, since that's like one of the only things it does. So I play king to d2, unpinning the d pawn in case my opponent wants to come to e4. Also later on, I'm probably going to play e3 to also relieve the pressure on that pawn. But in this position, my opponent played e6, so I just stuck my bishop into the position to try and restrict the king even more, maybe setting up queen to h4 later on. But my opponent simply responds with bishop f8, which is just a good move, so I take and knight takes. And I just stick my queen again into the position, just trying to get my pieces closer to the king. It's generally a good thing. Here it's not quite as good, since I apparently had knight g5. I don't even know what that does, but apparently it's a good move. So my opponent plays queen b6, good move, and I want to put my knight on c5 now. So my opponent trades queens here, which isn't great. Takes with the rook, and I play knight to c5. And this is just a good move. It's a nice positional move. It puts my knight on to a nice square, honestly. Usually knights on the 5th and 6th ranks are really strong. Of course, this can be kicked with b6, but even then, that weakens the c pawn, so I can already go, for example, knight to a6, and have just a pretty annoying position with knight e5 incoming. So my opponent simply just protects the b pawn with his rook, and I bring my other knight into the position, but this time it doesn't really matter that he can push a pawn, so he does it, and I just simply play knight here, attacking the pawn, and he moves the king up to protect it. everything's just very, very normal here. Nothing really out of the ordinary, no blunders. Just a better position for my opponent since he's up in exchange. So I try and break open in the center with e4. Probably not a great idea down an exchange, but okay. It opened up a square for my knight, which was another reason I played it. Knight back to e3, obviously the top move. My opponent played knight 2d7, trying to trade off my good knight, which is very logical, although it will undouble my pawns and improve my pawn structure. But I just take, I don't exactly know why, I think I was just trying to play fast here, in hopes of maybe flagging my opponent, trying to win. But king takes d7 was played, obviously, and then I played e5, trying to kind of close up the center, and if he takes, my pawn structure gets improved. So f takes, d takes, I was happy here since my pawn structure got improved. So I played here, my opponent was just putting pressure on the g-pawn, so I pushed it up. I didn't really see a reason not to. It frees up my knight to move, and also d4 was a threat if I didn't move my knight. So my opponent just attacks it with h4, although I didn't really think this was that great since I can just trade his flank pawn, and honestly it makes it a little bit easier for me. And you'll see why, because now I just move back and forth. Like, I literally just move back and forth. And in this position, I'm just like, okay, maybe I have a fortress, maybe there's no way for my opponent to break through. Obviously, the computer finds a way because it's a computer, but my opponent has 1 minute left on the clock, and he has to try and win this position only up an exchange. So he tries to reroute here. I don't really know particularly why he went to that square. Obviously, rook to h1 is better, but I literally just keep moving back and forth. And in this position, you may notice, we repeated moves 3 times. Computer calls it a mistake since it's a draw and the computer finds a way through, but again, the computer doesn't really have constraints on time, but also it can see like a million times deeper than humans, so it's kind of a bad comparison. But yeah, I drew my first international master. It was Blitz. It's Blitz, I know, but I drew my first international master. I think I beat a higher rated opponent, but international master is just such a prestigious title that in my mind, this is just a great accomplishment, even though I've had a better result. Yeah, but I was really happy with the game. It was just a random game that I played in a tournament at, I don't know, midnight. But anyways, accuracies. I had an accuracy of 81.1 and my opponent had an accuracy of 83.2. Honestly, it wasn't that unbalanced of a game if I look at the game graph. And the estimated ratings were 2150 for me and 2250 for my opponent. So we did play pretty high level chess, although he kind of underperformed a little bit, obviously, since we drew. But I think it was both games, good game by both sides. So yeah, thanks for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.